Before we get on with the big one, I'd like to take this opportunity to level, you might say.
How would you feel if you suddenly discovered that your favorite on-screen superstar is a backstabber who is selfish, manipulative, and rude in reality? Would you still look at them the same way? Hollywood's corruption list isn't only about the crimes committed by celebrities. It also cuts across to their relationships on and off screen. Join us as we unravel the 20 most corrupt actors of Hollywood's golden age. Number 20. Adolphe Menjou. Adolphe Menjou was an American actor known for his sophisticated presence on screen. He was one of the leading men in the 1920s, and he became popular for starring in films like The Sheikh and The Front Page. Aside from his acting career, this legend was known for his political interests and stances. It is not a crime to be genuinely involved in politics for the right purpose. It only becomes a crime when your interest becomes a tool that ruins people's lives. Adolphe Menjou was a loyal Republican who supported the Hoover administration's policies during the Great Depression. In 1947, he joined the House Committee on Un-American Activities to say that Hollywood was one of the main centers of communist activity in America. He was a leading member of the Motion Picture Alliance for the Preservation of American Ideals, a group formed to oppose communist influence in Hollywood. His movement and fight against the communists ruined the lives of many and led to a clash with his co-actors. Some of his fans lost interest in him and saw him as a backstabber, while others believed he did what he did for a good reason. Adolphe Menjou later lost his life to hepatitis on the 29th of October, 1963. Number 19. Edward G. Robinson. Edward G. Robinson was popular during Hollywood's golden age as an American actor on stage and screen. This legend appeared in 30 Broadway plays and over 100 films during a 50-year career. Just like Adolphe Menjou, he was also known for his political interests. He was an outspoken public critic of fascism and Nazism. However, the actor wasn't a supporter of communism. He did not criticize the Soviet Union, which he saw as an ally against Hitler. Unfortunately for him, things started to get rough when conservative critics revealed activists who attacked Hitler without simultaneously attacking Stalin as communists, communist dupes, and naive liberal dupes. He also learned that 11 out of the more than 850 charities and groups that he had helped over the previous decade were listed as Communist Front organizations by the FBI. He was later called to testify in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee in 1950 and 1952, and he was also threatened with blacklisting. Although his name was cleared, his career suffered. He began to get smaller roles until he passed away in 1973. Number 18. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was an Australian and American actor known for his romantic roles during the golden age of Hollywood. He became famous for playing Robin Hood. The talented actor soon got carried away by his looks and developed a reputation for womanizing, hard drinking, chain smoking, and narcotics use. He was also accused of being a pedophile after being acquitted of multiple counts of maltreatment in 1943. Two young women, Betty Hansen and Peggy Satterlee, allegedly claimed that Errol Flynn engaged in non-consensual intimate acts with them when they were minors. Although the case was dismissed for lack of evidence, Flynn's career received a large blow from it. It affected his public reputation and contributed to the cultural narrative surrounding misconduct in Hollywood. Errol Flynn later quit Hollywood, and even after he passed away in 1959, the mistreatment controversies still swirled around him. Number 17. Karl Alfalfa, Switzer. Karl Alfalfa. Switzer was an American child actor, comic singer, dog breeder, and guide popularly known for his role as Alfalfa in the Our Gang series of short subject comedies. The young actor later became a dog breeder and hunting guide after struggling to find substantial roles. The young actor struggled financially after he got married, and everything took a dark turn in 1958 after he was shot in the upper right arm by an unknown gunman. It didn't end there. In December of that same year, he was arrested in Sequoia National Forest for cutting down 15 pine trees he had intended to sell illegally as Christmas trees. After his arrest, Switzer agreed to train a hunting dog for Moses Samuel Bud Stilts the following year. While in Switzer's possession, the dog ran off to chase after a bear and disappeared. After learning that the dog had been lost, Stilts demanded that Switzer either return his dog or pay him the equivalent of the dog's value. Although the dog was later found, the scene that followed took an ugly turn when Stilts shot Switzer as an act of self-defense over a minor issue. Number 16. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin was an English comic actor, filmmaker, and composer who rose to fame in the silent film era. The multi-talented legend wrote, directed, produced, edited, starred in, and composed the music for most of his films. Everything seemed fine with the famous comic legend until the mid-1940s. He suddenly got involved in a series of trials that affected his public image significantly. First, his affair with Joan Barry led to an unwanted child whom Carly denied. As a result of the lawsuit filed against him by Joan J. Edgar Hoover, who had long been suspicious of Chaplin's political leanings, he used the opportunity to generate negative publicity about himself. He also allegedly disrespected the Mann Act, which prohibits the transportation of women across state boundaries for intimate purposes. The controversy surrounding Chaplin increased when it was announced 2 weeks after the paternity suit that he had married 18-year-old Una O'Neill. Charlie Chaplin's career never remained the same after several allegations were made against him. He passed away after having a stroke in 1977. Number 15. Chico Marx. Chico Marx was an American comedian, actor, and pianist who was popular for acting as a charming, uneducated, but crafty con artist, seemingly of rural Italian origin, who wore shabby clothes with a curly-haired wig and Tyrolean hat. He was the oldest brother in the Marx Brothers comedy troupe. This not-so-perfect actor and comedian was labeled as a compulsive womanizer and ran into huge debts as a result of his unhealthy habit of gambling. His favorite gambling pursuits were card games, horse racing, dog racing, and various sports betting, and they cost him millions of dollars by his own account. Long after his brothers had retired in comfort from their Hollywood income, Chico's chronic unhealthy gambling habit forced him to continue working in the show business. After he became bankrupt, the Marx Brothers placed him on an allowance until he passed away in 1961. Number 14. Clark Gable. Clark Gable was an American actor who was often referred to as the King of Hollywood. This legendary actor was considered classical Hollywood cinema's seventh greatest male screen legend. The famous actor was a heavy drinker and was notorious for getting intimate with female adult workers. He was also accused of being involved in a hit-and-run accident where he allegedly ran over a female pedestrian when drunk. Many decades later, the illicit affair he had with Loretta Young came to light. Their relationship began on the set of Call of the Wild. It remained a massive secret due to the strict moral codes and taboos of the 1930s. Loretta Young had a daughter whom Gable never acknowledged, even though he knew about her existence. Unfortunately, Clark Gable lost his life to a heart attack in November 1960. Number 13. Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was an American singer and actor. Popularly known as the Chairman of the Board and Old Blue Eyes, he is still regarded as one of the most popular entertainers of the 20th century. Aside from his career as an actor, he was among the world's best-selling music artists, with an estimated record sales of 150 million globally. His career was going well until several magazines began to publish details of his affairs with women. He had numerous extramarital affairs and was very manipulative. His association with the notorious underboss of the Genovese crime family, Willie Moretti, also stained his career. The FBI kept records of 2,403 pages on Sinatra. He was a natural target as a result of his alleged mafia ties. his ardent New Deal politics, and his friendship with John F. Kennedy. The legendary actor passed away in May 1998 due to a heart attack. Number 12. Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper was an American actor known for his strong, silent screen persona and understated acting style, which he sustained throughout his career. Cooper was a ladies' man and gained an infamous reputation for becoming one of the industry's most ruthless womanizers. He was also not a man of loyalty and commitment. He had so many side chicks even while he was still romantically involved with Velez. Aside from that, Cooper also had an extremely close relationship with the actor Anderson Lawler. Years after his first scandal, the actor remained a womanizer and cheated multiple times on his wife. He was even accused of hitting his wife once. The actor left Hollywood in 1931 but came back. Unfortunately, Gary Cooper passed away on the 13th of May, 1961. Number 11. George Raft. George Raft was an American film actor and dancer. He was known for portraying gangsters in crime melodramas of the 1930s and 40s. Raft, a leading man in several movies, was remembered for his gangster roles in Quick Millions. It would have been better if George Raft had portrayed the role of a gangster on screen alone, because everything took a dark turn for the actor's career in 1942 after the demise of James Cagney, when the public found out about his relationship with gangsters. In 1938 and 1953, he was interviewed by FBI agents about his knowledge of Louis Buchalter and Jacob Shapiro. He was also investigated for alleged tax evasion and sued by an attorney in Australia for mistreatment. George Raft was denied entry into the UK in 1967 because of his alleged underworld associations. Number 10. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford was an American actress. She started her career as a dancer in traveling theatrical companies before her debut on Broadway. She became one of Hollywood's most prominent movie stars and one of the highest-paid women in the United States. Joan Crawford wasn't labeled corrupt for committing a crime, but for being a horrible parent. She adopted 5 children, one of whom was reclaimed by his birth mother. In 1978, before the demise of Joan, her eldest adoptive daughter, Christina Crawford, released a memoir titled Mommy Dearest. The memoir painted a much darker picture of the actress as an alcoholic and a mean mother prone to fits of rage. After Crawford retired from the screen, she withdrew from public life and became increasingly reclusive until she passed away in 1997. Although many people believed Crawford knew of the book's existence before her demise, she never discussed it with Christina. The actress also omitted Christina and her brother Christopher from her will. She left everything she possessed to her twin daughters, Kathy and Cindy, and to charity. Number 9. Lionel Atwill. Lionel Atwill was an English and American stage and screen actor known for playing significant roles in horror films. Who would have thought this skilled actor would be indirectly involved in a scandal? 16-year-old Sylvia Hamelane was mistreated at the beach home of Lionel Atwill. This led to further investigation of the actor's life off-screen. Atwill was indicted on charges of perjury. He was accused of displaying adult films at his parties, and this led to a series of scandalous activities. He pleaded not guilty to the charge. He later admitted to possessing and showing adult films to a small group of friends at his beach house and was sentenced to 5 years of probation. Atwill was later blackballed from working under the Hays Code of Conduct for the motion picture industry. In 1946, he lost his life to lung cancer and pneumonia. Number 8. Mabel Normand. Mabel Normand was an American silent film actress, comedian, director, and screenwriter. However, the actress's name was linked with gun violence on several occasions, including the 1922 murder of her friend, director William Desmond Taylor, and the non-fatal 1924 shooting of Cortland S. Dines by her chauffeur, Joe Kelly. Normand was the last person known to have seen Taylor alive. Even if she was later ruled out as a suspect, her reputation had already been tarnished. Also, due to Arbuckle's scandal, most of her notable works with him were withheld from the public. The actress was a very heavy smoker, and she passed away at 36 from pulmonary tuberculosis in February 1930. Number 7. Mary Miles Minter. Mary Miles Minter was an American actress and one of the leading ladies who established the early Hollywood star system. From 1912 to 1923, Mary appeared in 53 silent films. The young actress was labeled very pretty with her photogenic features, blue eyes, and blonde curls. Her beauty and charm soon got overlooked after Taylor's life was taken in 1922. It was later revealed that she was romantically involved with the director whose life was taken. Her mother was also a suspect in the investigation of Taylor's murder because she was against the relationship between her daughter Mary and the late director Taylor. Her mother also made her undergo an abortion after Minter got pregnant for Kirkwood. All these unpleasant scandals surrounding her affected her chances of succeeding in the entertainment industry. In 1984, Mary Minter lost her life to a stroke in Santa Monica. Number 6. Spade Cooley. Spade Cooley was an American Western swing musician, big band leader, actor, and television personality. His murder conviction left an unforgettable huge stain on his career. In 1961, the actor was tried and convicted for taking the life of his second wife, Ella Mae Evans. Cooley suspected his wife of being unfaithful, while his wife, Ella, was certain of his infidelity. She made efforts to leave the marriage but was threatened by Cooley. Spade Cooley grew worse after he retired from music when his drinking aggravated. He also physically mistreated Ella Mae and threatened to take her life and the lives of their children. Their home grew dark on the 3rd of April when Cooley finally took the life of his wife. Cooley's daughter, Melody, recounted to the jury how she was forced by her father to watch in terror as he beat her mother's head against the floor, stomped on her stomach, and then crushed a lit cigarette against her skin to see whether she was gone. Although he denied these claims, he was later sentenced to life in prison and passed away in prison before his release on parole took effect. Number 5. Robert Mitchum. Robert Mitchum was an American actor known for his anti-hero roles and film noir appearances. Film critic Roger Ebert called Mitchum his favorite movie star and the soul of film noir. His deep, laconic voice, long face, and famous, weary eyes pictured him as the kind of guy in a saloon at closing time, waiting for someone to walk in through the door and break his heart. All these he was until 1982 at the premiere for that championship season. Mitchum mistreated a female reporter by throwing a basketball that he was holding at the female photographer from Time magazine. This led to a neck injury and knocked out 2 of her teeth. The following year, he made statements that were considered racist, anti-Semitic, and sexist in an Esquire interview. Although he later claimed to have been forced to perform the racist monologue, his fans never saw him the same way again. Number 4. Robert Taylor. Robert Taylor was one of the most popular leading men of his era. He was an American film and television actor and singer. However, his career took a sad turn in 1947 when he was called to testify before the House Committee on Un-American Activities regarding communism in Hollywood. In his testimony concerning the Screen Actors Guild, delivered on the 22nd of October 1947, Taylor revealed a few names of actors and actresses who acted as communists. As a result of his statement, Da Silva was blacklisted on Broadway and New York radio, and Morley never worked again after her name surfaced at the hearings. After the hearings, Taylor's films were banned in Communist Hungary and Czechoslovakia, and communists called for a boycott of his films in France. As a chain smoker, Taylor later lost his life to lung cancer at the 57. Number 3. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle. Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle was an American silent film actor, director, and screenwriter. He worked with Mabel Normand and Harold Lloyd, mentored Charlie Chaplin, Monty Banks, and Bob Hope, and brought vaudeville star Buster Keaton into the movie business. Arbuckle was one of the most popular silent stars of the 19th century and one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood. The successful actor lost it all after he was tried for the maltreatment and manslaughter of actress Virginia Rapp. The actress Rapp had fallen ill at a party hosted by Arbuckle in September 1921 and passed away 4 days later. A friend of Rapp accused Arbuckle of mistreating and accidentally taking her life. The scandal overshadowed his legacy as a pioneering comedian, and his films were banned by the motion picture industry censor Will H. Hayes after the trial. Arbuckle was publicly ostracized. Years later, he worked as a film director under the pseudonym William Goodrich and finally returned to acting. From 1932 to 33, he made short two-reel comedies for Warner Brothers. He later lost his life to a heart attack in his sleep in 33. Number 2. Tom Neal. Tom Neal was an American actor and amateur boxer who fought in many fights. As an actor, he was best known for his co-starring role in Detour. On the 14th of September, 1951, Neal, Barbara Payton, and Tone Franchot made headlines after Neal got into a physical fight with Tone over Payton in her front yard. Neal beat Tone severely while Payton reportedly watched the fight, and Tone suffered severe injuries. After his publicized fight with Franchot Tone, Neal was blacklisted in Hollywood, and his acting career was over. He then moved to Palm Springs, California, where he became a gardener and started his landscaping business. Everything was going on fine for Neal until April 1965. His wife Bernadette's body was found on the couch, partially covered with a blanket and a gunshot wound in the back of her head. At trial, Tom Neal admitted that Bernadette's demise was an accident, and he was sentenced to 1 to 15 years in prison, but was later released on parole after he served 6 years. He was found lifeless on his bed as a result of heart failure in 1972. Number 1. Wallace Beery. Wallace Beery was an American film and stage actor popularly known for his portrayal of Bill in Min and Bill. In the early 1930s, he was the highest-paid film actor in the world. This not-so-perfect actor in reality was considered misanthropic and difficult to work with by many of his colleagues. One of his colleagues, Robert Young, described Beery as a shitty person. He was also hated by everybody he worked with. When Beery was 30 years old, he got married to a 17-year-old actress, Gloria Swanson. She later accused him of inappropriate behavior and forcefully making her to swallow an abortifacient. He was allegedly involved in the attack on Ted Healy, where Beery and his colleagues seriously beat the latter. It was reported that the beatings given to Healy might have led to his demise a few days later. Although the accusations were disregarded after an autopsy was carried out on Healy's body, Wallace Beery's career was already destroyed. He later lost his life to a heart attack in 1949. What do you think about these famous actors and actresses? Do some of them still deserve to be celebrated? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.